I've been waiting a few days to have a chat about Obi Wan Bissaka. I'm absolutely blown away by this player, and it's irrespective actually of whether we're playing well or whether we're playing badly, irrespective of which manager is in charge of the team. I just think he's absolutely exceptional. There've been a few players that have stood up, really stood up, even under the times of Lopetegui, when clearly it wasn't great. Players were falling out with him, and despite all of that, there were a few. I see, for instance, I would expect Max Kilman to play. He's a new player. I'm talking about players that were, that maybe that weren't Lopetegui's choice, let's say. And certainly, I think Edson Alvarez has sort of crumbled to a massive extent under Lopetegui. Certainly, it made him worse. It looks like Potter's making him better again, and you could say the same with Paqueta. Certainly, I think it was the case that Bowen was standing up. Bowen was really fighting. Maybe Bowen wasn't at his best form, but Bowen was really fighting for him. And I think Souček really stood up under Lopetegui as well. And he's just got that attitude. And I think those players are just like the lifeblood of your club. And I just wanted to talk about Wan-Bissaka really, Gio, because I think he's just shown this same attitude. Whatever the minerals that Souček has got, Wan-Bissaka has got. And he is so much, and I mean so much better than I thought he was. And he's just always had that reputation for that, the best one-on-one marker in the Premier League, and you've heard that numerous times. He's far more skillful than I thought he was, far more versatile than I ever thought he was, and he has just got that. What did we say? We said it in our Patreon player ratings that I don't think any point this season we've ever told he's a 4 out of 10, or he's just, even at his worst, he's sort of like a 6 out of 10. He seems to be like between 6 and 8 out of 10 in every single game. And I cannot believe that Man United sold him, really.
Is this a little fanboy video, basically?
Yeah.
Have you got me on here so you don't look like a pervert over Wan-Bissaka?
I don't care.
You've got me
honestly.
on here because you thought if I speak about Wan-Bissaka in the way I want to for 10 minutes, I'm going to look like a perv. So if I get Gio on, I'll look like half a perv.
I think people are with me. I think there's gonna be a lot of people agreeing, mate. To be fair, so say what you got to say, really.
I'm a fan of him as well, but this is a proper fanboy video. I'm all for it. I think perhaps the difference between mine and your adoration towards Wan-Bissaka at the minute is the lack of surprise for me. Maybe I feel like I'm getting what I thought I would from Wan-Bissaka, whereas you've are on a bit of a voyage of discovery, not completely because you knew of him, but I think you're watching him in much greater detail and much more than you ever were when he was in a Man United shirt. I mean, given the fact that he was in and out the Man United team didn't help as well. So even if you were to watch 10 Man U games a season, you might only see Wan-Bissaka 4 or 5 times. So you wouldn't always watch him week in, week out. So I think I'm getting what I expected. The bit that maybe has surprised me the most is how good he is on the left side. I knew he'd played there before, but I can't say I've ever watched a Man U game Wan-Bissaka playing on the left and thought, oh, what an excellent selection that is. A bit like Mazraoui and Dalot. At the minute, they're switching sides at Man U. I don't watch it and come away thinking, what an excellent option he is on the other side, because I don't care. I don't care enough to have that thought process. So that's impressed me. I think it's a huge benefit to have players like him in the team that can adapt and play in different positions. And when we got linked to Ben Chilwell, I thought, well, that's just nonsense, because why do we need him? Because we've got Emerson and Scarles and Wan-Bissaka. You've got the third option there, and it means that there's something you've got to do on the right side, but you've got Somerville can play in that position. Soufal at a push can play in that position. So you're actually blessed, and he can cover various different places. And you look at what we think Graham Potter's going to do with these back three and wing backs. Wan-Bissaka can comfortably play 3 of those: the right centre back, right wing back, and left wing back. And I think if somebody would say, I think he could play left centre back, I wouldn't argue. I'd say we need to see it first, but I think it would be a fair expectation that he could certainly do that role as well. So if he can cover 4, I have 1 starting position as his, but can cover 3 of the other 9 outfield positions available to him, that's an incredibly valuable asset. Maybe this is why Sullivan's gone back to using his agents, because this is a Will Salthouse player. So Salty got one right, maybe. But
Well, we got a real problem on our talking about that. Just digress for a second. We got a real problem on our hands. How's this for you? So people are really liking Graham Potter at the moment, and rightly so. He looks very promising, and people are, and I think rightly, saying that Wan-Bissaka might win Hammer of the Year. I'll give it to him now, personally. We got a bit of an issue because Will Salthouse chose Aaron Wan-Bissaka and gave, well, I didn't give him. We had to pay for him, actually. Offered him to West Ham, and Karen Brady was. You can't have it both ways. You can't spend. I didn't want Potter in, right? I didn't. I have to admit that. I my three top managers, he bloody wasn't on there. He wouldn't have been in my top 5. I can't change my tune now. And I can't sit here doing videos going, Brady's really pushing this really hard, this getting Potter, because he's mates with Paul Pesky Solido's, Karen Brady's husband. The club aren't sure, but Brady's really heavily in negotiation. She won't let this go. She's forcing it through. Why is this woman taking control of the football club? And I can't sit here on videos and say all that stuff, and then when he turns out to be good, pretend that somebody else brought him in. So we might have an issue on our hands where we have a really good manager who was basically chosen by Karen Brady, and our best player chosen by an agent that nobody particularly likes. I'll tell you something though. And I was looking at Wan-Bissaka the other day. I look at Wan-Bissaka every day, but I was looking at him the other day, not on the highlight reel, it's actually during the game. And he was doing his stuff. He was being generally brilliant, technically excellent. He's still got all the tackle stuff, the go gadget leg. He's got all that. And I looked at him and I thought, well, so what is he now? So 26, 27, something like that. We are lucky that he has been to a big club and perceived to have failed. Because if we had a 23-year-old version of that, even if he had, forget him coming through the academy, right? If he, whatever, let's say we went and picked him up from Ghent, right, for instance, and we picked him up for £7 million and he started playing like that and he was 23, he wouldn't have a cat in hell's chance of keeping him. Everyone would be after him. And I mean, everyone would be after this guy. And I think we are lucky. We are, in many respects, in the way that, like, Michail Antonio was sort of he was 29 and injury prone at the time when he started to really start battering opposition defences. And I think everyone would look at him and thought, actually, no, we can't go, because what he was at his best, Antonio was playing like a 30, 40 million pound player. And I think, you look at Wan-Bissaka now. Wan-Bissaka, the irony is Manchester United paid £50 million for this right back, and they got a £15 million right back, and then they sold him to us for £15 million, and now we've got a £50 million player. And I just think because he's almost failed at that, I think nobody's coming in, and we've now almost got him on the peak years of his career. And somebody have to come up with something really rude, an obscene amount of money to make this stick. Actually, talking about rude and obscene amounts of money and players appreciating and depreciating in value, I'm going to ask for you guys' help, really. Basically, do you know a little bit about stocks and shares? Do you know a lot about football? If you do, you're probably going to have to help me out, because today's video sponsor is Stocks FC. And I'm going to ask you guys to come on a voyage of discovery with me, because I'm backing myself with this stuff. I'm going into the football stock market, basically. Gio, tell us a little bit about it, mate.
Stocks FC, where you can purchase stocks in your favourite players, whether you want to get the tried and tested, guaranteed to return players, or you think you can spot the next upcoming player in the Premier League, then get on Stocks FC, purchase stocks in that player, and get rewarded in real time. So when they score an assist, it gains points, and then there's a team of the week every week, for example, and dividends are paid out for those players. It depends on how many shares of the players are out there and whatnot. But it's a bit of fun. But also, we've got an offer for you here at Hammers Chat. So if you use our link, which is in the description below, or there's a QR code on your screen, which you can then sign up there. And if you use our link, you will get 5 players on loan for free for 1 month. So then that way you can see what's about, see how the dividends work, so you can have a little look around and get involved. I'm enjoying it because I'm doing quite well at Fantasy League this season.
You are.
And it's sort of there's a little correlation going on because of the team of the week aspect and stuff like that. So if you're good at fantasy league, you should be good at predicting team of the week. And then perhaps you could purchase stocks in the players you think will be in team of the week. Happy days, everyone's a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a bit like me, like a mix between Jeff Bezos and Pep Guardiola, and you know your stuff. No, I'm joking. I don't know much. Let me know. I'll be interested. Let me know what players you think I should invest in. I'll be perfectly blunt with you. I went and bought some shares in Jared Bowen. So I put a little bit of money. I put a little bit of money in the account, and
I
bought.
copied you.
Did you?
Well, you told me I had a bit of FOMO, so I thought I'm going to go purchase shares in Jack. I've maybe given you profit by getting after you, so maybe his price has gone up because
maybe you do. Maybe you do. I just thought he's going to come back into the team, so I've backed myself. My knowledge, hopefully I've got some. Well, you don't know a little bit about West Ham. Bearing in mind we do a job, but I thought, you know what, he's going to come back. He starts scoring. Surely his value is going to go up. So I invested £3. I bought £3 worth of shares in Jared Bowen. I'm doing this as I always do all my stuff. So if you want to join me on the journey, I'll start introducing my screen. I'll start sharing my screen and stuff like that. If you've got anyone, don't have to be West Ham, obviously, anyone in the Premier League, I want to stick to the Premier League, but Premier League based players who you think are going to sort of rise in value, then let me know. I'll be interested. I need some tips, basically. I'll tell you what, though, Gio. Little segue here, a little smooth as you like here. If we'd have known at the start of the season, I would have invested in Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Would have been a wise idea. I'm pleased we've got him. So I completely subscribe to what you're saying. One of the things I'm concerned about in regards to the overall squad of West Ham United is the homegrown players allocation. Because we've obviously got Wan-Bissaka, we've got Max Kilman, but some of our long term, when we've had Aaron Creswell, we've had Mikel Antonio, we've had Declan Rice, you've not had to worry about the homegrown quota because there was a lot of long serving players at West Ham feeding into that. But obviously, with Antonio and Creswell's contracts up at the end of the season, I think it's fair to expect them both to depart West Ham. Danny Ings' contract's up at the end of the season. James Ward-Prowse, his future is uncertain. Now, while he doesn't feed into the homegrown quota this season because he's out on loan, he's still a homegrown player. And it's definitely a number we're going to have to pay attention to. And it's a number that we're going to have to look at in the summer transfer market. And it's one that I want to invest in wisely. So we were to get linked to players, young 20s that were homegrown, then brilliant. Because I think we could do with 2 or 3 players that are just the spine of the team. And this is why I got frustrated with Ben Johnson leaving. Because I thought, well, it's quite a low cost signing for West Ham to up his contract to keep him. He would have been on 60 grand a week, one of the lowest earners in the first team squad, but he had that homegrown tag on him, and you could just in fantasy league we call it set and lock. So you might pick someone like Jordan Pickford as your goalkeeper at the start of the season. You don't worry about it. That's it. Set and lock. He's done. You're keeping him for the entire season. You don't need to worry about it. And I think Ben Johnson had an element of that. So when he left, I was a bit frustrated. Now, of course, there's the additional part of that, which is European football, academy trained, but we're going to park that for a minute because we're not going to have European football. But we definitely need, if we want a full squad of 25, we need 8 homegrown players. Wan-Bissaka is one of the few we've got now. We can say, that's it. For the next 5-6 seasons, he is one of the 8 every season. Yeah. And I think those players are worth their weight in gold, actually. So it might have cost us 15 million. He will be worth more. I agree with what you said. But also, we've got no intention of selling him, and people won't buy him because he'll be bad value. If you were to come to West Ham, we'd probably turn around and say, well, 30 million. He's not worth 30 million to a buying club. But that's what he's worth to West Ham. So he's going to be here for the foreseeable future unless something goes wrong, form, injuries, falls out with Potter. I can't see it. There's no evidence of that in his career so far that those things are going to come true. So I think in 5 years' time, I think Wan-Bissaka will still be a West Ham United player. And there's not many of the players you can say that about in our squad.
Yeah.
But him and Jared Bowen have that homegoing status as well. And that is vital. Now, we might have some players that go on to become those, like Ollie Scars, and hopefully he does. But it's definitely an area we need to look at. And that's why we've got League One Wes in the summer, because he's homegrown. He's free, homegrown, ticks the box. But he's only got another year to go after this one. And then he's out of contract. So you're always looking at that. And if you can have a few Wan-Bissakas and Bowens in your squad, I think it really takes the pressure off you when you're building your squad for the future, that you can go, right, okay, we need 8 if we want a full squad. There's 3, 4 of them. We don't need to worry about them. But we're going to be, the market's going to be restricted a little bit this summer, actually, in terms of homegrown players. And Wan-Bissaka's got that. I completely agree with you. I think he would win Ham of the Year if the vote was done now. Fantastic player, great asset to the team, very likable. He's got that sort of attitude. He's still got his weaknesses. Look, he still switches off at times. He's still, not the best in the air. But if he's going to play right wing back, I think you eliminate that weakness a little bit, because if he switches off defensively, he's got somebody behind him covering his arse anyway. And the aerial ability or lack of it at times is usually your centre backs that are doing that part of the dirty work. So I'm pleased. I still don't know which position I want him in long term, right wing back, right centre back. I'm looking forward to discovering between now and the end of the season. But this is why I keep saying it's pre-season time for Potter.
Yeah.
You've got 3-4 months now to decide which one you want Wan-Bissaka to do. But the good thing is, if you start off next season, he's your right wing back and the right centre back gets injured, you can move Wan-Bissaka back there if you have to. During a game as well, we've seen Potter switch tactics in game. And having someone like that, it's just gold dust stuff. Dragon's Den's back at the minute. Deborah Meaden always says when someone comes in with a deal, she always says she doesn't know how to explain it. It's just she goes, the deal's got a little bit of this. And it's like the X Factor in it. It's got a bit of that. Yeah. It's not money. She rubs her fingernails rather than goes, money, money, money. That's Salt House. That's what he does when he rocks up at Russia. Hey, I got right back for you, lads. She goes, it's got a bit of that. I think Wan-Bissaka's got a bit of that.
Yes, there's something wrong with your mime. It's not quite right. But listen, I'm certainly going to give him a little bit of Tuka time, and I'm definitely not out on him. That much is for sure. I don't care. I've got to say that I'm looking forward to him playing in all the positions.
You're a Wan-Bissaka pervert and proud of it.
Yeah, right, bloody right. I'm going to get myself a T-shirt. He's the new Deadpool. No, honestly, he's absolutely blown away with him. Really, I can't wait to see more. Looking forward to him, and he just, he's better than Steady Eddie. And when I say Steady Eddie, it's not an insult. It's what you're going to get from him. You're going to get that 100%, and then sometimes he's just going to win man of that match as well. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. Just 2 further things. Don't forget your stocks FC. And buy some shares in some players. Join me on the journey, but please do use the link in the description below, please, or the QR.
Well, if you don't, you miss out on a couple of the loan players. If you sign up normally, you only get 3 players on loan for free, but if you use our link, you get 5.
Yeah, don't search it on your phone. Use our link. Get yourself that Brucey bonus. Give us our Brucey bonus as well. And by the way, just one last thing: if you can subscribe to the channel, I think it's made a difference. I spent years not asking. I think it's made a difference. You
flip-flopped.
I did flip. I know it's annoying. When people say it, I'm listening to YouTube. Oh, shut up, mate. But
pervert.
Yeah, I am. Press the subscribe button unless you're already subscribed, because that'll unsubscribe you. But make sure you press the subscribe button, dinged the bell next to it. That means you'll get a notification, which you're going to want that because we've got to go on this journey together and buy ourselves some shares in footballers.
Where's the bell in relation to the button?
The bell is the other side of the button.
On the end?
Oh, do me a favour.